has nanotechnology taken the world by storm? Certainly can agree with Michali. They didn't actually know that chemotherapy is actually harmful to the body and does allow for the body to deteriorate after a while. But right now I'm sitting with the Keanu Harker, who is of course a resident of Cape Town at heart. Man, welcome to the show. Thank you so much for being here. How are you doing? How are you feeling?
Away. I'm feeling lick. I'm feeling good. Thanks for having me. Thanks for having me back. It's been a while since I've been here, but it's good to be back.
So you just came from the Jazzathon the past weekend. How
Yeah.
has it been? What was the experience like?
It was amazing. I think I take the Jazzathon as like it's an annual reunion of, friends and colleagues and musicians. But it's really great. And it's been a while since I've been on that stage. And I think the difference this year is because there's so many people that I've never met, but they came out to see me, is like, whoa, it means the brand is growing. It means that people are listening to my music. So I think it was just a highlight. To start the year off at the Jazzathon
Starting the year off with the
bang bang.
With the bang bang. And you're speaking about the brand that is growing and expanding.
Yeah.
Let's go back to the very beginning of Keanu Harker, taking it way back when. Tell us about your journey, how it has begun and how it has grown so far, and what you are feeling like today, the experience everything since then.
Very cliche line, very musical background, musical family. I grew up in the church. That's where I started playing. And I think it was easy for me to latch on to music because both sides of the family, there's musicians and singers all over. And I knew that, and nothing against people working in offices, but I knew with me, it was like, I want to be on stage one day, that's what I want to do. I don't know what I'm going to do, if I'm going to dance, if I'm going to sing, but I knew. And I think my parents saw that and they kind of nurtured that and they ran with it. And they supported me ever since. So I think it started off with guitar, and then I studied and graduated as guitarist, singer, bass player, drummer, songwriter, sound engineer. And it was like, I was like, whoa, this is, and again, the blessing to that is it wasn't a burden. It wasn't like I needed to, put in too much effort because it came naturally. And I think today it's really just because of the support of family and friends and supporters now, who follow the journey. And I'm just grateful.
And then we are fast forwarding a few years after that, we come to the album. It's called I Believe in Me 2021.
Yeah.
What contributed to that album?
So, funny story, I say this all the time, that the song I Believe in Me it's a great feel-good song, but it's also my daily anthem, So just to backtrack a little bit to 2019, I was on season 3 of The Voice Ekse.
Yes.
And while I was in that space, it was a case of, how did I get to this point? And it's because of the belief in others in me that pushed me to the point where I now have to believe in myself. So it's more than just it's a song, it's an anthem to me now, and I made that the title track to the album. And it's been received, I think in the first 2 months it played in like 52 countries, which is like, what?
That's
like,
mind-blowing.
Because it's my first album, So I thought, okay, cool, Cape Town, maybe Joburg, Durban.
And at that point, you were very young.
I was.
You were
I
Baba.
was like, hey guys, I don't know what this is.
And from that, playing your song in 52 countries, absolutely.
And I mean, I'm sure now it's even more. And so now the plan is, okay, world tour. I might as well, My music is playing, so now next best thing is to actually perform live in Japan and in Trinidad and Tobago and all of these places.
And speaking about performing and, and being in the industry for quite some time now, you've obviously collabed with many people. What would you say you enjoy the most about being in the industry and what it is that you do? You teach, you're an artist, you write, you're a performer, the list goes on and on and on. But what would you say you enjoy the most doing?
Personally, for me, because I know what it feels like to be inspired by people that I watched growing up, I think now it's at a point where, so I think this year it's 11 or 12 years that I've been teaching music. And like at the Jazzathon, for example, there were students of mine that were there and they said, you know what, we saw you and we want to be like you one day. So I'm like, besides the performing and the collaborating and teaching, I think the biggest part and my favorite part is when people can say, thank you, that you inspired me to do what I do now. So I'm like, you know what, if that's all that I'm here to do, then I'll continue doing that.
If that's all what you're here to do, you continue doing that. But we do have something coming up this year.
Yeah, a few things this year, actually.
A few things. Okay, well, let's talk about Sunday. Sunday is the closest one coming up. You're performing at the amphitheater.
So that is a big one because, firstly, I performed there last weekend, right? But that was at the Jazzathon and I was part of the Guitar Cartel. This coming Sunday, it's Keanu Harker at the amphitheater. So I've got my own hour show, and I'll be performing my original music. I'll be performing my album, and that is super exciting because obviously it's a tourist attraction. So now those people that were listening to it in Japan are probably going to be here, and now they're going to, you know.
Yes.
So I'm very excited for that, and then I'm going to be performing some live new music there, and hopefully that music that I perform there will be the new singles that I release in the next 3 to 4 to 5 to 6 to 7 months.
Months? I was
I'll say
hoping you were going to say months. Yeah. Years? No,
No, not
months.
years, months. So hopefully this year I'm really pushing to get at least 4 more singles, 3 or 4.
Okay.
And then maybe an album. Maybe an album.
So the Jazz-a-thon just finished.
Yeah,
You saying the experience was better than you've experienced before.
I think so.
What would you say the highlight was for
The
you
highlight?
personally? Keanu Harker being there.
There were many, but the biggest one was just I don't want to say strangers, but the people that I don't know who you are, but you clearly know who I am. And the people came up to me and they said, hey, we love your music. My favorite song is Me For You. And this person said, my favorite song is this. And I'm like, you guys are not even from here. And they're like, yeah, that's because your music travels and people know about you.
The brand is expanding.
So somebody said we're waiting for the tour. And I'm like,
The world was coming.
yeah,
It's
but let's
coming.
first do the South African tour, maybe.
Yes.
Yeah, you know, let's do like the Garden Route or the West Coast, or maybe go up to Joburg. But eventually, it's gonna get to the world tour.
It's coming. Don't
Very,
worry.
very, very soon.
And you guys also should not go anywhere. Thank you so much, Keanu Harker. He is still here to perform on the show, so you do not want to miss that. Let's take a quick breather and we'll be back with more of Ekse after this. Do not go anywhere.